Hello everyone and welcome to my free-to-play Rares Only Plus challenge. In this series, I've been progressing through the game using champions who are rare, uncommon, or common, plus any champion who is free and permanently available to all players. So with all that out of the way, let's dive in. And as you can see, I've got a shiny new avatar for having completed Doom Tower Normal. That's right, we beat the Eternal Dragon today. And normally I wouldn't have time to upload videos on days that I work, but as fate would have it, I got off work early today, so I can share this with you guys. This was the team that I used to beat it, but honestly, Drexlar basically soloed it. I'm going to throw in Frozen Banshee and Gravechill just because they're in Guardian set gear. I just want to see if this will work. But yeah, you can see the 1 out of 10, or sorry, the 9 out of 10 gold keys. So I just did this today. But Drexlar basically solos it, and all it really took was for me to change him out of his lifesteal build and move him into a regen build. And until today, I didn't have any regen gear, or at least not enough to do a full build on Drexlar. Because of the ×2 Fire Knight event for regen gear currently going on, I managed to pick up enough I had about 2 pieces that were like really good, and I managed to pick up 2 more during this Fire Knight event. So thankfully that was going on, and I managed to pick up pieces that make him work. So once we get to the boss, you'll see he's resisting most of the, or all of the majority of the effects that the boss and the ads are trying to do to him. I got him in a nice tanky resist build, and I'll show you his build after the run's over. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this will work, but I'm pretty confident it will. He seemed to do just fine last time. So there he resisted whatever the boss was trying to do to him. He's doing the AoE attacks. They're kind of doing on auto what I would have them do if I was doing it on manual anyway, so I'm just going to let him go. Now I'm just going to click on the boss. And we'll go ahead and click on the priest. And I'll click on this guy over here just so we can try to get an HP burn on him. Oh, he's already got the burn. Now we'll click back on the boss. So yeah, I just want all the ads to have burns on them, so when they take turns they deal massive damage to the boss. So if at any point these HP burns fall off of the boss or any of the ads, then I'll try to put burns back out again. Alright, now we go back to the boss. Because if we get Brimstone up, we want to be able to put Brimstone on the boss. We actually haven't gotten any Brimstone triggers on the boss this round yet. All the Brimstones have gone out on the ads. So it just goes to prove that you don't really need Brimstone for this. I was afraid that you might, because I got really lucky Brimstone triggers my first time beating this. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Drexlar could solo this. Everyone else was just in there for emotional support, basically. So let's show you by the way, 2 million damage from Drexlar. Let's show you the build. So actually, speaking of things that I just discovered today, this little icon for the perception set, it took me forever to figure out what this was. This is the Faction Wars boss. It's this guy right here. That's what you see on that's the logo for the perception set that you see. So yeah, that's cool. Actually, now I kind of want to look at resilience. No, that's just like a guy in armor. So weird. Yeah, that's the Faction Wars boss. Yeah, okay, it's super. I just happened to notice that today, so I thought I'd share that with you in case you didn't know. So yeah, I thought that was cool. But yeah, let's look at his build. Okay, so we got the weapon. It's just resistance and speed were the only stats on this, and I leveled it to 12 and hit HP, and then 16 I got even more HP, so that was really nice. This double speed roll, defense roll, resistance roll, and then it rolled accuracy at 16, so that was amazing. And then no speed on this piece, but it had HP percentage and defense percentage and resistance and flat HP, so just a ton of stats that he needs to be a solo champ. Speed on the boots with HP, resistance, and flat defense. It's not the best, but I mean, obviously we would want defense percentage, but we got the job done. Defense percentage chest with accuracy and HP percentage rolls in the substats. And we're fortunate enough to roll speed at level 16, so that's great. And then a 4-star HP percentage gauntlets. I actually had to go to the forge and craft these today. I didn't have any HP gauntlets. Initially, I was rolling a crit rate gauntlet here for the build, and it was working for dungeons, but I couldn't beat the final boss of Doom Tower. So I was like, you know what, maybe he just needs a little bit more HP. So I took off the crit rate, gave him these 4-star HP gauntlets with resistance, defense percentage, and speed, and it got the job done. Let's look at his total stats. Actually, this this amulet is just placeholder until I get a better one. Ideally, I'll get one with some resistance on it too. But the ring has defense percentage and HP percentage. Great ring for Drexthar, and we have him in an accuracy banner with kind of like, we can find a better banner than this eventually. Now that I could finally farm Spider 20, we probably will. So let's look at the total build rather than each individual piece. So we have 56,000 HP. He's getting 75,000 of that from his 1-star Brimstone Blessing. And then we have almost 4,000 defense, which is really nice. Just shy of 200 speed, 0% crit rate in his build. This is just raw dog in the crit rate, and only 3% crit damage from artifacts. So he's at 53% crit damage with 230 resist and 246 accuracy. So this resist actually needs to be a little bit higher, and it's actually fine because in my Great Hall, if you'll notice, I have no points placed into resistance yet. So I can easily get another, I say easily, I could get another 80 resistance in his build, and he would be in a much better suited to for dungeons. Another 80 resistance would put him at 310, which is like 5 over the cap of where you need to be to like be a resist tank for dungeons. So yeah, like, this was huge. Drexthar and regen. I was even talking about it last Saturday on stream when I failed a couple times trying to beat the Eternal Dragon. I was like, I bet he could solo it if I had a regen build. I just don't have the gear for that right now. And lo and behold, Fire Knight 20. It's a ×2. It's a ×2 regen event going on right now. So that was very fortuitous. 1 rotation of Doom Tower down. Yeah. I can't believe it. I'm just so excited right now. Also, with this regen build, let's look at Spider 20 just to see what he gets up to. Let's keep an eye on Drexthar and see how many of the poisons he resists. Before this regen build, the success or failure was entirely dependent on how many stuns Bellower was able to place. So he's got 1 poison. Oh, I forgot to show his masteries. We'll look at that next. So he resisted that poison, resisted that one, resisted that one. So he's still not resist capped for dungeons, but he's resisting a ton of these poisons, and it's making a massive difference in the amount of damage he's taking. Each time one of these poisons lands on Drexthar, that's 5% of his max HP gone at the start of his next turn. So a debuff bar can hold up to 10 poisons. So if that debuff bar gets maxed out on poisons at the start of his turn, he instantly loses 50% of his max HP. It doesn't matter how much defense he has, doesn't matter how much HP he has, it just completely drains him. So as you can see, that extra resistance, while he's not resisting all of them, he's resisting enough of them that his regen set is replenishing his HP that he's lost. This is such a more comfortable setup now that he's not dying. And then what poisons do get placed, the reliquary is just cleansing them right off. A little cheeky brimstone damage there. Yeah, this is I'm over the moon right now. Yeah, 1 poison, no big deal. Reliquary cleansed it off. He's at full HP. I don't think I've seen him go below 50% HP. I tried to do a Ice Golem 21 solo in this build, and he made it through the waves, but he died to the boss. That the side adds place decreased defense, which wasn't the biggest issue, is that they also place heal reduction, which that kind of hosed him. So I'm confident that if I can get him up to that 305 resist where he needs to be of like resist capped for dungeons, I think he can solo Ice Golem 21, which is crazy because I can barely farm 20. And there it is. Like, it's so exciting. Drexlar has been massive for this account, and his damage is right on, well, just a little shy of Cold Heart in the damage department, but basically neck and neck. I'm keeping that. Okay, so let's look at his masteries. This is something. I was driving to work today, and I was thinking about, like, man, if I could just get Drexlar in a resist build, I think I could do Spider 20. So that's what we went for. I went 10 resist here with Defiant. It just reduces the damage he takes by critical hits by 8%, which is good because he's actually weak affinity in Spider 20. So this helps reduce the amount of damage he takes there, and that's really nice. Wisdom of Battle, if he gets put to sleep or whatever, then, you know, again, this was for, in my head, I was thinking for Spider 20, if the big spider sleeps when she gets a turn, then he's got a chance of putting block debuffs on himself for a turn to help fend off more poisons, because he's not resist capped. So this could potentially help, and this increases resistance by 10 for each debuff on this champion, stacks up to 30. But again, because he's not resist capped, whenever he gets a poison, that'll just push him a little bit closer to where he needs to be. Obviously, once he is resist capped, I'll probably reset his masteries again, because if he's resist capped, then he's resist capped. More resistance doesn't really do anything. So, but for now, this is helpful. And we have the deterrence. So in Hydro, when the head of Torment or whatever it's called puts fears and true fears out on people, he can counterattack and put a HP burn on them. And hopefully he's got enough resistance to not get feared. Actually, I don't think it can be resisted. I don't remember. I hate Hydra. It's too many mechanics to keep track of. And then 50 resistance from Unshakable. So this was enough to get us there. And obviously we picked up the extra accuracy where we could, along with Lore of Steel to give us more speed and accuracy from that perception set, and then increasing the chance of placing the HP burn by 5% on his passive. I'm over the moon. I am over the moon. I'm speechless. I'm just so excited. I couldn't wait until Monday to share this with you guys. That's when I normally do my weekly updates. Actually, something interesting happened on my Fire Knight team. I rebuilt Armiger because I wanted to see if I could build him to solo the Spider's turn meter. So I got him up to about 229 speed, and it still wasn't quite enough to solo the turn meter of the big spider. It was really close, but it just didn't quite work out. So after rebuilding him, I proceeded to do a Fire Knight run, and because I swapped out his chest from an HP chest to a defense chest, he actually died on the waves. Despite Armiger dying on the waves, I still managed to beat the boss. So that made me realize I don't need Armiger to turn meter control the boss. I can bring Soulbound Bowyer back in. So this is going to help me smash through the waves a ton faster. So that's another recent development on this account. And I've found that even if Coldheart or Soulbond gets their turn meter reduction resisted, my team is still built tanky enough that they can survive getting attacked by the Fire Knight. One thing that was happening is I don't turn off Drexlar's A2 because it deals more damage than his A1, especially since I don't have Giant Slayer on him. What happened was the shield came up and there were 3 charges left on the shield, but rather than use his A1, Drexlar used his A2, and then Soulbond used her turn meter reduction into the shield. It was very frustrating, but they still managed to take the shield down again and turn meter control the boss. So even under less than ideal circumstances, this team is resilient enough to be what I believe 100% win rate. I haven't done 100 runs you know, so I don't know for sure if it's 100%, but I'm extremely confident in it. And just to help make sure that we don't find ourselves in a similar predicament, I turned off Drexlar's A2, so he will only ever use the A1 in case the shield comes back up. He could do the 3-hitter to knock it down real quick. So I've seen, normally Cold Heart is the first one to drop turn meter. So we'll see here. You'll see that her Heartseeker skill on her next turn is what drops the turn meter down. So if that gets resisted and the shield comes up and he attacks us, I could recover. And I've also seen it such that when Soul Bond goes to do her turn meter when the turn meter is nearly full, if that gets resisted, the shield goes back up and I can still get it back down and recover. The only way I think this potentially loses is if I get unlucky 3% resisted from Cold Heart and Soul Bond back to back. But it's really funny, when the shield goes back up, Brimstone will actually knock one charge of the shield off, so I get a free hit if Drexlar has placed Brimstone on the Fire Knight. The one downside to Drexlar's new build is that he is no longer at 100% crit rate, so he's not doing as much physical damage with his attacks, but you know what? It's worth it. A small price to pay for progression in many other areas. There we go. 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I think with Armiger on the squad, it was like, I want to say it was like 4 minutes to 4.5 minutes. It was much slower. So this is huge upgrade, making progress all around. And once I've invested a little bit of a few more medals into the force resistance section of my Great Hall, I might actually be able to solo Ice Golem 20. I'll go from not being able to clear it hardly at all very consistently to having a solo champion, maybe. And if not 20, then definitely 21. So stay tuned. Something we're gonna tinker with. CVC is coming up this Tuesday, so I'm gonna invest my Great Hall medals into force resistance, and hopefully I'll get some spider farming done, and maybe we get a nice new amulet with resistance in the substats, and that can help push us over the edge. So great things are afoot and abound. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to see what's coming next. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you in another video soon, but until next time, everyone, happy raiding.